Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Bakemonogatari, episode 13.
Big shoes to fill here.
Oh, yeah.
Because last episode was so amazing.
Yeah, probably the best one we've seen thus far.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Yep.
Focused a lot on Senjugahara and Araragi.
Hitagi.
Yes,
or were you talking about her
dad? Yeah, exactly. So, we still have the whole thing with Hanekawa, though.
Yeah.
So, I guess they might get back into things in this episode? Possibly.
Who knows?
I'm curious to see what they do with that, given that Hanekawa's whole situation wasn't solved.
Right. Yeah.
So, it's the first time they've done something like this. And I'm curious to see how it all kind of
comes together,
packages together.
Yeah.
So without further ado, y'all, let's get into this. All right, everyone, we're gonna start the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. A butterfly. This park again. Yeah. Nice. He's so happy.
Yeah. Watch, he's gonna crash.
Practically giggling. Hey, Hachikuji. She sensed a disturbance in the force. What is happening? This is...
Is he gonna push her?
Ah! Oh my god. Oh my god. No, you did not. Yep, you did it on purpose. I started. I stumbled into God. Oh, man. Totally invincible. So. It what? Oh. Well, she kind of picked me, you know?
As a good study partner?
No, probably not. That's that.
End of the show.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Okay, uh-huh. Yeah. What about it? Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Possibly.
Maybe he left. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Definitely. Wow, it was a long intro.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. You know my head.
The
So we're
triangles
back.
like the cat ears.
Well, yeah, we're back to Hanekawa stuff then, if this is the OP, because we've got, Tsubasa Cat, Neko.
But they still brought up Shinobu again, so... we picked up on that, yeah. Forever wait, huh? Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Doesn't at all give us any insight into Hanekawa as a character.
Nothing at all. No.
Not at all.
Totally not. No. Okay. Tsubasa Cat Part 3.
So, episode 12 was still part 2, I guess?
I guess so, yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's at the park again.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think we've seen her with her hair down like that without braids and everything.
Oh. That's a good point.
And glasses and a hat? Or wait, no, she normally has glasses, yeah. But...
Oh, hey. Good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Aragi. Ah! My voice actress is excellent!
Wow.
Yet. Run away! At least he said yeah. He kind of agreed though, so that's good.
This is a very different look for her, though.
Yeah.
She's in her pajamas.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. See how the bikes were put differently?
Mm-hmm.
Which one was hers? Is it
I'm
the one in the
guessing
shadow?
probably the one in shadow?
Yeah. This is she's not herself right now.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Ah. Yeah, with cats over them, yeah. Straight up, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hanekawa-sama.
Oh my gosh.
Let me be frank with you. This track is I think we've heard it once before. Because she's maybe in tap with that side of her right now. Oh. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right.
We're gonna do something. Oh, okay.
But he might not be there.
Yeah. Right. Right.
All right. Okay.
Hmm. Aw. Ow.
Probably not.
No, yeah. Okay.
Yes, probably.
Indeed.
Sure.
Funny thing is, she actually skipped the moe moe part, you know? That was actually in the letter. This is great. As you do. Mm-hmm.
How does that relate to cats?
Nothing.
Yeah.
You took the bait, Aragi. Right.
But still, what about the cats?
Right, right. Mm-hmm.
She's got cat ears, doesn't she?
Yep, yep. I'll get mad. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. Huh? Hmm.
Yep.
Yep. Dang it, Araragi. Arigato. So the coat is for the tail then.
Ah, sure.
That's why she's sitting down. Hmm.
Yep. And the claws.
Yep. The heartbeat.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
And the way they at first they made his little hair thing straight up. You have no idea.
No, he doesn't have to. That's the point.
Right.
He chooses to.
Although if it doesn't feel like a choice for him, you know? Like if he feels like he has to.
No, I'm sure he feels compelled to, but I think that's more due to his own psychological problems rather than actually something that is a true forcing, function. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
About you? Oh.
Interesting.
Oh.
Does Araragi have some of that too?
Right, and it's more specific that Shinobu has done that to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right.
That sounds more like something that... No,
Right, because it could be, but it could also be her basically wanting to cast doubt on whether him and Senjigahara should really be together.
I don't know everything. I only know what I know.
Ah. But she doesn't. Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, she's definitely not herself. Huh. No. Huh.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot of cigarette ash.
Right. Okay.
No one cares about Araragi.
Sounds very similar to what he would say about Shinobu.
Well, and also, did he call Shinobu no one or nothing? See, no one cares about Araragi. Yeah.
Oh,
He's
meaning
actively
Shinobu.
talking about Shinobu.
Right. Yeah. Oh. Oh, y'all. Whoa.
Did he knock her out? Okay.
Okay, so no tail.
So he's forcing her back into the cat state?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, you're right. Here it comes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Nice. What?
I love
What is this
track
music?
By you? Yes, please. Gotcha. Nice.
Hashiga furuyo de ikura doro imi no koto wo
That is a great question.
Oh, that's new. Okay,
right.
so
So we're back to Hanekawa.
Yeah.
And they're moving things along.
Not that much though. Like
right, because there was a lot of banter before they got to all the stuff that was focusing on her whole story and everything. But they're now dealing with the cat once more, like the true form of the cat.
Yeah, we had a surprise encounter with Hachikuji, which kind of just delayed what they were going to do. Now, I like that Hachikuji is we're just being reminded that, yes, she's still there in the story. But I think that's kind of been, like, at least confirmed on some level that everyone is going to be a part of the story on some level.
Right. Well, and I am a little bit salty that it seemed more of just the thing that she was in there for fan service. While there was good banter between them, that didn't seem to be the main focus of it. But
well, if anything, what I'm curious about with this episode, because I'm not really like seeing the bigger picture with this episode. I can see what this episode was for. It was to bring us back to Tsubasa Cat, to Hanekawa's story and stuff. But the fact that we left it at all and we came back to it and had this episode where the banter seemed to be involving a lot of subtle things being thrown back and forth, which I'm not gonna catch on first watch and things like that. It's like, okay, all right.
They didn't seem to do that much as far as the story goes of Hanekawa's whole issue and the oddity and her home life and whatever situations basically caused this to resurface as an issue.
It seems like, if anything, they're giving us a lot of visual hints by having her in this new look.
Right.
And now that's something that we've seen before by seeing her in the cat form, the meddlesome cat.
Yes.
But in this case, it's basically saying, no, she's her regular self, but also has cat ears. So is this that it's bleeding through now?
I think so. Yeah, that does seem to be what it would imply. And one of the other things I thought was kind of interesting, a little bit odd, if you would say, is her outfit was almost exactly like Sengoku's. You've got the hat, you've got the hair that's let down, and then you've got the coat,
Sure.
I'm not exactly sure what that would mean, other than maybe she's trying to get Araki's attention, possibly, but
I get the vibe that a lot of this with Hanekawa has to do with the fact that she's somewhat, she has her own internal problems and stuff like that, but she's essentially split. She's kind of in denial of what she wants.
Yes.
And based on the stress coming at her from her environment and stuff, she's kind of connected with this pervert cat kind of thing, and it's made her, I would say, be unfettered, untethered by specific social trappings that required her to act a certain way so that she could communicate and express her feelings freely. And the music and stuff all confirms that, in that stuff that we've talked about in, I think, 2 episodes ago's discussion about how this all ties into Hanekawa's whole thing of she always seemed to be behind bars whenever we saw her in the earlier episodes, that she's kind of imprisoned. And as and
the whole thing that they did 2 episodes ago of having Shinobu drain her energy as basically a way to like temporarily like blow off the steam that was building up that she was needing to let out in her cat form, then it makes sense that this would come back, of course, and I think they mentioned that. So then I guess we could just assume that at the very least this situation hasn't been dealt with. So if they don't say too much stuff about all the stuff with her family, I'm not quite sure if her parents actually recovered, then okay, it's just kind of more of the same.
Good point.
But it's an issue now. Araragi is still there, whether it's him as the focus because he is wanting to help, or whether he also exacerbates it because of, say, how Hanekawa feels about him.
We know that that's the case. We know that
because there are feelings that she doesn't feel like she can say, and it leads her to say things like that. The charmed by the vampire and whatnot, and maybe that's something where she wonders about it for herself, if she's been charmed by Araragi a little bit in that way, or if that's just the reasoning why Hitagi is so charmed with him.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is her not only kind of making excuses for it, but it's her kind of discussion with Araragi where, like in a couple episodes ago, she mentioned how people are saying rumors about you in Senjugahara. This is that kind of passive-aggressive kind of conversation, which shows that she's unwilling to be confrontational and direct.
She's wanting to express the things that she needs to express, but she's not actually willing to be honest and open about it.
Yeah. However, I want to say that this is in direct contrast with how she was in the beginning of the show. One of the things that I've just noticed a lot more with the recent episode, 2 episodes ago, and this episode, is that Hanekawa is not acting like herself. Like, one, the outfit change, I think, is a visual storytelling representation that she's not acting like herself. But now it's gotten to the point where they're wanting to be so overt that they're like, no, she actually has the cat ears now. This is not a part of the transformation. Well, so in the earlier parts, she was actually way more confrontational and direct. She wasn't passive aggressive.
And I feel okay, I would say that I think she still was passive aggressive on the things that mattered the most to her, with the whole thing of like with the fact that she liked Araragi, right? She didn't seem to that was something that she didn't really touch directly, but with the other stuff she was very like upfront about it. And so I feel like it's something where that was something that she constantly had bottled up, and now it's become enough of a problem that she's not able to really keep it bottled up anymore, but that whole duplicity of feeling like she needs to, hence the school uniform and all that stuff that she's constantly wearing, pretty sure even when she's not at school. Then there's the contrast to this and the whole thing of, I just know what I know. I don't know everything, I just know what I know. And now it's, I don't know anything, I don't know anything, I don't know anything. Her world is crumbling around her and she doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, and she's wearing pajamas.
She's
giving up.
Exactly. Yep. Right.
It's something where I wish this was actually faster, because I think that the visual storytelling things that they're going for are so vague, at least in my perception of things, that it just reinforces, it has to at least just reinforce the things that we already assumed about
because there wasn't
Hanekawa, but it doesn't actually give us anything definitively new.
Because I feel like this is something where the things that they were communicating by non-verbally, right, with the visuals and everything like that. It was kind of just more of the same, so that if we hadn't caught on to it yet, we do now.
But it seems like this show has so much depth and veiled things within it that if anything, like put at least something, I mean, maybe it's already in there and just haven't seen it, but like, I don't know, maybe I'm getting misfocused here and I'm thinking that they aren't actually putting anything in here that's super subtle. But I think what they're actually putting in here is things that are... This is one of the episodes where we go, once you have the retrospective information, then you'll go back over here and it'll make a lot more sense. And I think this is just a style, again, that I'm not used to. Really... Well, no, I'm just not really a fan of, really. Oh, okay. Is that it's something where... what did I say? Is like, if you have a plot twist, if you have basically a development in the story that is coming, there should be a way that you could understand what it would be before it comes there. And then if it's there and it's just like, there was that one thing that happens, and if you extrapolated from that, then you would have done it. I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because this show is actually really episodic when it comes down to its plot, that it needs to have the actual clues be extremely subtle. Otherwise, it's not something that would actually be a surprise at any point in the future. Right.
Well, okay. So if we were to look at this arc in comparison to other arcs, right? Because in other arcs, they would usually move things along fairly quickly, and whenever there was an episode, we would get new concrete things that we weren't necessarily expecting. That's like, okay, it helps us understand the situation and things like that. Even with, like, say, the Kanbaru situation, where we got, like, the second episode of that arc, we kind of guessed some of the things that happened, like the whole reveal of her liking Senjugahara and all that stuff. It still introduced a lot of new elements. Whereas with this one, maybe it's because there was episode 12 that was in between them. So this episode had kind of like a fair amount of recap. Or it could also just be the fact that since it was something that was resurfacing from before, they were confirming that, yes, it is resurfacing, even though in the first episode of this arc, they clearly stated that it was going to resurface, or that it was starting to, or something like that. And it was something we'd need to deal with eventually. So the fact that then they had all this stuff be a reveal, the cat ears and stuff, that was cool. And, and they still had good banter in this episode. But as far as the oddity itself, it felt like it was just... They spent a fair amount of time on things that we already guessed were going to happen. So then it was like, okay, where's the new character development unveilings that we're getting that is the result of the oddity happening, or the oddity draws focus to it. We still got a good amount with Hanekawa showing how disturbed by all of this she was, and that she had very much given up about things.
Yeah, I think that's more the kind of thing of just showing that the alternate form has, like we said, bled into this. So it's just taking more effect. Right, but it's there was no, like,
the things that, because they talked about what the things were that were causing the stress in the first episode, and they didn't really... I feel like this could have been a lot more impactful if they focused more about the things that are causing the stress, not just the effects of the stress itself. Because then, when we see how strongly it's affecting Hanekawa, we have a stronger anchor to the present and the whole deeper character conflict. Because the thing is that there's the stuff with the parents, right? And that's absolutely understandable why it would cause an issue, right? But with the way they handle it, it seems also like it's very much a thing about Araragi. But the thing is that we don't know exactly why the conflict is so strong with Araragi. Like, we know that Hanekawa likes him and is jealous of Senjugahara and all that stuff, but it's still something where we don't necessarily know why Hanekawa likes him so much. And she even could potentially have been wondering that and being like, I wonder if it's the vampire charm thing,
Possibly.
But even then, that's not something that would give us a super strong attachment to the conflict surrounding that attraction, if that is what it was. So, yeah, like, I feel like if this episode were to be improved, the way I would have wanted it to be improved is to show some stuff from Hanekawa's perspective of exactly why she likes Araragi so much.
Well, hold on. That's actually...
maybe that's best saves for next episode?
No, that's actually a point that's good to bring up, though. They never really show non-Araragi perspective.
That's true. Unless the people talk about it, they don't show it.
That's the point. We don't have the thoughts of other non-Araragi characters,
right? And because she is the the passive aggressive type that won't talk about things, then we don't get that this episode.
Right. What I think that to like add on to what you're saying there, I think that the perspective thing is basically an instance of I wanted more Hanekawa this episode.
Right.
Is that Hachikuji, and no offense, Hitagi, Senjugahara, love you. You're amazing. You came in here. This is great. But your scenes were completely disconnected and had, I would say, very little impact, in my opinion, to the overall Hanekawa story.
Right.
And it's cool that you were in there, both of you. But I was like, can we go back to Hanekawa, please? Because like I actually am really interested in her oddity situation, because it does seem like something that's, with the whole like aspect of her having this alternate personality persona with the whole meddlesome cat thing possessing her, but also not necessarily like being separate from her. There's this weird vibe from it, that because also they keep bringing up Shinobu, like you're saying there, it's like, okay, what are they setting up here to reveal, especially with a Shinobu? I feel like they need to move things along with Hanekawa so we can get to whatever that thing is that's coming up. But every time they make jokes about how my voice actress is better and really good.
That was great, though.
It's a hilarious fourth wall joke, and I love it. I love that this show has no chill and will just make whatever jokes it wants. But like, I think this is just the unfortunate thing of I don't speak Japanese, so I don't really care as much about the verbal.
The explanations of like the jokes and stuff.
Jokes. Like that's not good banter to me. Like just to me, like I can't get really as much from it other than like the little parts where they do explain it and I go, I kind of get why that's funny.
And the jokes of like the miscommunication of like, do you have anything else? And then she tells another joke. It's like, that part was funny because it's the idea that there's that disconnect in the miscommunication, which especially for Hanekawa and Araragi, that's like apropos, right? But then they spent the time that they had to take to explain it. It wasn't additional goodness on the joke. So, and the thing is that with Hanekawa, her oddity, other than maybe Shinobu's, just because they've built it up so mysteriously of her being a vampire and all that stuff, Hanekawa's oddity, I think, is the one that I'm the most inherently interested in for how it will tie into the character, because there's like that's some intense stuff, and we know the intenseness of it from the get-go. Whereas with like Senjugahara, it's like, okay, she's weightless, and that felt kind of arbitrary until we got to the conclusion of it, and then we saw how much it played into things.
Whereas Hanekawa is implemented so well with her characterization up until this point that when we got that first episode of her dealing with this,
I was like,
we're on board. And then they went and shifted to probably the best episode we've seen thus far, and then we got this episode right after the best episode and the intro episode, which this one retreaded mostly old ground and then gave us banter that doesn't correlate to it on the immediate sense
and in the emotional sense,
in the emotional sense. And then at the very last 5 or 4 minutes of the episode, we actually end up getting into some we actually can't talk to Hanekawa as she is because she's not going to be helpful. We actually have to talk to the subject. That's basically some straight up like split multiple personality thing where it's like this personality is actually useless, like actually distracting.
That personality is the problem, maybe because the thing is that the split personality thing. It came about probably because of how Hanekawa deals with the uncomfortable things that she has to unfortunately deal with in life, right? And she segments it off, and then you can't address it if you don't acknowledge its existence. So and I think
that's actually another good point, though. We don't know 100%, at least I might be wrong, but we don't know 100% how the oddity came to be connected to her, right?
Araki seemed to think that it was because of the cat that they buried or something.
But
that might have just been a manifestation of it.
Right. But here's a crazy thought. This is a world in which there are no rules as of this point.
Or at least they're very different from our world.
There's a lot of very interesting visual stuff going on in here. This could all be inside Aragi's head for all we know. I don't think it's going to be that way. But But here's something that's good to bring up. You said just now, and it just made the spark go off within me, that this personality, the one that we were seeing, the regular Hanekawa, even though it's Hanekawa that's off,
right,
was actually the problem. Maybe in a lot of ways, the cat is more truer actually to Hanekawa.
Right, and that's why she exists. Yeah.
Right, but she expresses everything honestly there. That's why Oshino wants to talk to her.
Oh yeah.
But the segmentation, basically the coming back to things and being the dutiful schoolgirl who knows what she knows.
Yep.
That might be the actual fake personality. That might be the lie. That might be the lie.
Yes, it is definitely the lie, because that's the facade that she puts out on the outside to make sure that everyone thinks that everything's okay. I've got it together.
Right, but if we have vampires casually walking around, why can't we have a cat girl that has a ferocious kind of tenacity and all that? Just that's normal. Yeah,
sure. Yeah. They could do that. That would be quite the twist. One of the things that I thought was interesting is that they specifically brought up, they had Hanekawa talk about, like, okay, when Araragi was like, oh, she's on the back of my bike, and, squishies.
Squishies. Wow.
And she was like, we're going to need to talk about that later.
Well, she didn't say that. She said, we're going to have a talk after we get off the bike.
Yeah, we're going to have a talk later, yeah. And then when she turns into the cat form, she's like, you were, like, she calls him out on it. Something that she probably would not have done, or at least not in that way, if she were in her regular state.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but yeah.
Huh.
Like, what they do with Hanekawa is really good, and I feel like it's just something of wanting more of it, and getting, like, upset when it's like, no, don't do something else. Like stick to this part.
Yeah, it feels like artificially extending the narrative.
Well, one thing that they could be doing, is if they're doing a joint arc with Shinobu and Hanekawa.
Right. I am totally for that. But again, Shinobu was talked about twice in this episode.
Exactly.
And maybe actually a little bit more. Do we want to talk about that really quick? That no one cares about Araragi?
Oh, yeah. So
Oshino mentioned that 3 times.
Now, is that something... So
was Shinobu nothing, or was she no one?
I can't remember. I think it might be that she was no one.
Okay.
Either way, the connection's there. And I'm guessing, like, we both agree that he was probably referring to Shinobu, even though Araragi didn't clue into that, right?
Okay, so if Oshino is referring to Shinobu, I am really curious as to why, and also that we are getting that whole thing at the same time as Hanekawa reveals that in this universe... I think it's a very similar thing to vampires in most myth, that vampires can charm people by looking at the eye. It's a form of hypnotism. Who's to say Shinobu hasn't done that already with Araragi or even Oshino?
Yeah.
So if it's not the whole thing with him referring to Shinobu caring about Araragi, what does it mean?
I don't see any other way that it could really be interpreted, because there's the way that Araragi interpreted it of no one, like literally just no one cares about me, Araragi isn't important.
Right, because...
And he was upset by that, yeah.
Right, because, he's caring a lot about Hanekawa's problem at this case. That actually... Okay, here's another interpretation of it. Here's another interpretation. Oshino is very perceptive. That is his shtick, if you will, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I would say Araragi is perceptive.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that I think is interesting about Araragi is he has this kind of save everyone kind of protagonist thing.
Right.
I'm like, okay, that's cool. There's nothing necessarily meta about that. I like it. Yeah. If anything, the thing is I don't like it, but I just kind of accept it.
Okay, sure.
But if I want to think
like Senjigahara?
Well, no, kind of okay.
She said that she also likes that part of him. But,
I think she likes it. What I think might be interesting that Oshino, he sees that Araragi doesn't value himself very much. Hence why he constantly throws himself into danger to save other people, because it's always worth it.
Sure.
So when he says, no one cares about Araragi over and over again. The reason why he's repeating it
is to get a rise out of him,
is to specifically get him to reject that. Because he's saying, wait, I'm worth something. I'm valuable. I care about Araragi, even if no one else does.
Right.
So I think Oshino might be playing some kind of mind
4D
games
chess.
4D chess mind games on Araragi, being like, hey, you think you're worthless, don't you? You think you're nothing. And he's like, no, don't say that. Like, that's not true.
Sure.
I don't know. That just seems kind of like one of those things that seemed too odd to have him just throwing out there repeatedly in the same exact verbiage. I think at least 3 times, potentially 4 times.
Potentially 4, yeah.
And it was like, so I like the Shinobu idea. I really do. But I want to present basically an alternative look.
Sure.
Because I don't remember whether or not it was Shinobu is nothing or Shinobu is no one.
Right. And hey, either way, with the thing that you're talking about, it's something where it's adding depth to the main character, which is always good.
Yeah.
Now I kind of hope that it is talking about Shinobu, just because I like that headcanon of that, that
it's pretty interesting.
That double that nuance, I guess, or the layers to basically what Oshino was saying.
Hey, what if it's just all of it?
Sure,
both of them.
Yeah. But then also there's the idea that if they are doing a split arc between Shinobu and Hanekawa, then having more meat given to Shinobu, basically, since she's not on screen very often, would be very helpful in order for there to be a satisfying resolution, especially with the amount of time that they're taking with Hanekawa, because it's making me think that it's more going to be like a simultaneous thing, which is a little bit unfortunate because, like, I like it when they give full focus to the characters. But of course, Shinobu doesn't exactly take up much.
Can we bring up Shinobu,
time.
I'd say a little bit more specifically this episode? The whole thing of bringing up the vampire's charm ability, if we take that just specifically as Hanekawa trying to unsettle Araragi's relationship with some of the people he's talked to, or to give herself some reassurance as to why she likes him. Okay, cool. But why is she even bringing up Shinobu? Because
Well, yeah, because like there's the whole thing of her knowing that would be a thing for vampires, and I guess she's smart. She knows a lot of stuff, so there could be that.
Right.
But the only real purpose that I could see is either to unsettle him about Senjigahara, which we saw in 2 episodes ago,
because
or just the thing of her trying to understand her own feelings.
Okay, because they keep bringing up spring break and what happened to Araragi, and the way they talk about it is it seems like Shinobu made Araragi into a vampire.
Yeah.
But Hanekawa was there. Hanekawa was involved. Hanekawa knows about this whole thing, either because Araragi told her, or she was actually like present when this happened and stuff.
Well, there was the Golden Week thing with Hanekawa, and then Shinobu was there, and Araragi had already been turned into a vampire at that point, I think.
Possibly.
And then Shinobu did the whole energy drain thing, and then that was how Oshino took in Shinobu, I want to say.
I don't know if we know anything about any of that.
Or like that was what put Shinobu on his radar or something.
Yeah. But, I don't know. All I'm saying is that Hanekawa seems to have past information on Araragi and his whole vampire transformation thing.
Sure.
I think that was hinted to like back in the very beginning at episode 1. But there's been this constant presence of Shinobu being his master, basically.
Right. Yeah.
His vampire overlord, if you will.
Yep.
And yet Hachikuji, I believe, kind of just randomly brought up Shinobu without even meeting Shinobu before. It's like, I think I saw her at some drive-through burger place.
Getting donuts.
Getting donuts. Yeah. Getting donuts at some place by the
donuts.
Next to a highway. And I like the idea that they are building up Shinobu, but I am curious as to why they keep bringing up Araragi's origins as a vampire and how that like started things. Like Hanekawa mentioned, like that was what seemed to start all this stuff.
Right.
And every time I would say there's a character in this story that is, I would say, a bit obsessively interested in Araragi and giving world building exposition specifically to the audience. Shinobu. They seem to bring up Shinobu, and specifically with Araragi's kind of origins, development, and all that. They tie him as basically this anchor point from which all story and the entire world revolves around it, and it's this very meta kind of sub-story where you basically are like, well, wait a minute. Is this basically just a dating sim game, and Araragi is, you know, just going through a trip of his own, you know, like whatevers of like, you know, his own like, you know, pervy fascinations and stuff.
I mean, certainly with Hachikuji. I mean, you can say that he was just trying to startle her, but no, he could have just like done that, you know, like.
Yeah. It's something where I wonder how much meta commentary I'm supposed to read into these kinds of interactions regarding Araragi and what his role is in the story beyond him as a character.
I do like, though, the idea that they suggested a way that there could potentially be a mechanic in the world that explains why the harem thing is even happening. I do like that. That does me a lot of good, because the thing is, the harem genre is not one that I am particularly fond of.
Me neither.
As I can be convinced to enjoy a show that has harem tendencies,
right?
But I have to be convinced, right? And the fact that they put that in there, that I appreciate it, because it's the show basically acknowledging that yes, all this stuff is absolutely ridiculous, that there's all these girls, you know, just falling over Araragi.
Yeah, my thing is that in some ways, this show has been built up so much that I'm trying to read depth into things that I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be even reading into.
Oh, sure, because like, there's so many things where you wouldn't expect there to be depth, but then there is. So then it's the thing of trying to find it everywhere.
Sure. Or that people have given such a reputation for this show being so like crazy, whack, acid trip, you know, deep and stuff, that I'm like, well, wait a minute, like, doesn't that kind of lock me into like believing that there's depth in things that might not necessarily have any depth that's intended? You know, it's the idea that the story has things where you go, oh, that's kind of interesting, I wonder what that means, and then it's like, well, none of that was actually intended. You're just kind of looking for it to make sense of, to give some semblance of sanity to the ridiculously that is this story.
That's one of the whole points of art, granted, but
but not generally entertainment stories, I would say. Like it's something that I would say.
Well, okay. Well, I will definitely secede the point that Monogatari seems to be an artistic piece. More so than an entertainment piece, right. Hence why there aren't really other shows like it. Like, and it was such an adjustment when we started watching it,
right?
But yeah, there's like there are totally things where, like, for instance, the whole bit with Hachikuji, and I know I've mentioned it so many times and probably annoys the crap out of you guys, but that's one of those things where it's like, oh, is there some deeper meaning behind this? No, not this one anyways. Not this time.
My one thing I've come to the conclusion of that scene was I think that was meant to have an excuse for Shinobu to be talked about by someone that wasn't Hanekawa.
Yep. And I mean, I will definitely say that that the faces that Hachikuji gives of the you know, and things like that. Those are fantastic. Those are absolutely fantastic.
It's kind of funny because Hachikuji, I actually kind of like her character more than most of the other girls in a lot of ways.
It just bugs me when they throw the fan service in there, because it's like, oh, okay, all right, you know. But all the stuff surrounding that is still great. Yeah.
All right. Well, this is a different kind of episode, but I'm looking forward to the next one, because I feel like this next one's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah, they can't really not have it be a doozy after what happened.
Yeah. And either that or actually the next one, because are there only 15 episodes in Bakemonogatari.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So they might not actually even get to Shinobu's story. Like, it might just be Hanekawa.
Yeah. So, y'all, if you want to see that next episode's reaction right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. Any level of support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about stories or just hang out and chat about whatever.
Yeah.
So if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.